Now let's talk about the impact of this reversal on different assets. Starting out with US Treasuries, I think that they're going to be a big loser. If the United States isn't getting this tariff income, it's going to mean wider deficits, which means the United States is going to have to issue more debt, more treasuries, and as the supply rises, these US Treasuries are going to become less valuable. I already think there isn't a ton of demand out there for US Treasuries, so this isn't going to help. And if we think back to last year when these tariffs were enacted, part of the strategy was to push people out of the stock market, which had been performing very well, and into the bond market. The administration was looking for ways to create bond demand. So if these tariffs are reversed, I think that it is going to benefit risk assets like stocks and lead to even less demand for treasury bonds. The winners are going to be these risk assets and liquid assets like stocks, Bitcoin, and crypto. Back in March and April of last year, when these tariffs were announced, we saw all of these liquid assets selling off. We can go ahead and take a look at a chart of the S&P 500 over the past 5 years. If you look back to April of last year, you can see a big dip. The stock market did not like these tariffs, and that's because tariffs lead to uncertainty. They lead to global tension. They lead to higher importer costs for all of these businesses, and they lead to liquidity contracting. These assets like stocks, Bitcoin, and crypto, they like liquidity. When global dollar liquidity contracts, they don't like it. So if we do see that these tariffs are reversed, I'm expecting that we may see the opposite. Leading up to these tariffs last year, stocks were taking off, Bitcoin and crypto were taking off. We had all of this enthusiasm, and then tariffs killed it. If we kill the tariffs, I think that it could lead to a nice little boost for all of these liquid assets, and we could definitely see Bitcoin and the stock market moving a lot higher. And as you know, if Bitcoin's moving higher, all of these shit cryptos are probably going to move higher too. I also want to reemphasize that this tariff reversal would likely lead to the US fiscal situation getting worse. It would lead to widened deficits, more debt, and more money printing. We know that money printing is going to benefit these liquid assets like stocks, Bitcoin, and crypto. Looking over to gold and silver, these metals have benefited a ton from tariffs. It's not a coincidence that the year the United States put these heavy tariffs in place, gold and silver had their best years ever. This is because it's created a ton of nation-state demand. Nation-states don't trust the United States. They don't trust US Treasuries, and these tariffs have led to a ton of global uncertainty. This has led to nation-states loading up on these safe haven assets. And a great recent example of this is with this additional tariff that Trump is looking to put on these European countries. As Trump announced that he wants to put an additional 10% tariff on these European countries who oppose the US acquiring Greenland, we saw that gold and silver continue to shoot up higher. I think that these metals have benefited from all this uncertainty. The United States was hoping that with these tariffs, it would push people out of the stock market and into the US Treasuries market. People have not moved into the US Treasuries market. They have moved into gold and silver. If you reverse the tariffs, I think that it could be a catalyst for a gold and silver pullback. Gold is nearing $5,000 per ounce, a key psychological level. Silver has gone crazy. It's reaching $100 per ounce. So I think that we are due for a pullback, and this could potentially be the catalyst to make it happen. If the Supreme Court rules against these Trump tariffs, I would expect a move out of these precious metals and into these risk liquid assets like stocks, Bitcoin, even though it's not really a risk asset, kind of trades like one, and crypto. Now, the opposing view would be that if these tariffs get reversed, it's going to lead to a worse fiscal situation for the United States. As I mentioned, it's going to lead to wider deficits, more money printing, which is going to hurt the US Treasuries market, and that could create more demand for gold and silver. However, with the way that gold and silver have performed over the past year, I really do think they're due for a pullback. They may be going higher in the medium term and long term, but this could be the catalyst to set us back a little bit in the short term.